Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Automation Testing Online. In today's video, we are going to discuss about arrays. What is an array? Array is an object which contains elements of similar data type. It is a data structure where we can store similar elements. Array is index based. So the first element of array is stored in 0th index. Second element of the array is stored in the first index and so on. Let's begin with a simple string variable. Say birds. I'm assigning a value to this variable. I can assign multiple values to a single variable by turning them into an array. And these are the steps to do so. Next to the data type, I'm adding a set of straight brackets. And to the value, I'm surrounding the value with a set of curly braces. Here, I can give multiple values. So, as I said, these values are index based. Parrot is on 0th index, crow is on first index, peacock is on second index, and dove is on third index. In order to access one of the values, arrays have spots which are called as elements. Let's say that I'm going to access the first element. The first element parrot is on 0th index. We got the output as parrot. Suppose I needed to access the third element. Our third element is peacock, so its index value is 2. If I give here 2, I can get the output as peacock. What if I attempt to access an element that does not exist? Let's give it a try. Instead of giving 2, I am giving here as 6. Here we don't have a 6th index. It throws an array index out of bound exception because we have given an index that does not exist. Friends, you have to remember that when we are assigning the values, they all have to be the same data type. Suppose I'm trying to give here a number, an integer value. It shows an error. It says that the type is mismatch. We cannot add another data type. We have to give only similar data type. We have an additional way of creating an array, and that is by first allocating the amount of elements we needed and then storing the values later on in the program. So I'm writing the type of data type in the array, and then I'm giving a name to that array equal to new keyword, again the data type. The brackets will assign how many elements we need within this array. Let's say we need 3. So we can assign a total of 3 numbers. Now we'll assign each of the element of our array. So the value in the zeroth index of our array is 10. In the first index it is 20 and in the second index it is 30. Let's access the second element. So here I'm giving numbers of 1. Second element we have is 20, which is in the first index. So our output will be 20. So we got the output as 20. This is the additional way for creating an array. First, declare the amount of elements that we would like for this array, and then we could assign the values later on in the program. Now I'll explain how we can use a for loop to iterate all of the elements in this array. Let's say that we would like to display all the elements of this array. So let's create an for loop to do that. For loop has 3 statements. First statement is that we need an index. So let's say that we start with 0th index. Second statement is the condition. We can continue our for loop as long as I is less than the length of the numbers. To find out the length of the numbers, we have to give numbers dot length. And then finally we have to give the increment. So our index will be incremented one by one. I is going to begin from 0. Loop will continue as long as I is less than the length. And then after each iteration, I is incremented by 1. So we got the output as 10, 20, 30. This is how we have to use for loop to retrieve all the elements from an array. So far we have discussed for one-dimensional array. Now we'll discuss for two-dimensional array. For two-dimensional array, we have to give 2 straight brackets equal to new keyword, again the data type, and then 2 straight brackets. And the value inside the straight brackets means that I need 3 rows and 3 columns. First iteration is for the 0th row. 0th row, 0th column, I'm assigning the value as 10. 0th row, first column, I'm assigning the value as 20, and so on. Similarly, for second iteration, the first row on the 0th column, I'm assigning the value as 40. First row, first column, I'm assigning the value as 50, and so on. Similarly, for third iteration, second row, 0th column, I'm assigning the value as 70. Second row, first column, I'm assigning the value as 80, and so on. If you need to access one of the elements of an array, you just need to list the name of the array. Here, the name of the array is numbers. I need to access the element of the first row and second column. First row and second column, we have 60. So let's see what is the output we are getting. I got the output as 60. Similarly, we can change the row and columns. Suppose I'm giving here first row, 0th column. First row, 0th column, we have 40. I got the output as 40. Let's retrieve all the values by using an for loop. Here I have used again for loop to retrieve all the values. As I explained in my previous example, we have three statements in the for loop, and inside the for loop I have given another for loop. The first loop is for the iterations and the second loop, inner loop, is for the column values. Here I have given j is less than numbers of 0, which means that columns are always dependent of rows. So the length of the column is dependent on the row. And at last I have asked to print numbers of I and j. So the rows and columns values will be printed. So we have retrieved all the values. Since I need it in a row column format, I need to make some changes here. I'm going to remove this ln. So ln means it prints in line. If I remove this ln, it prints in a row. I'm giving a space here for better understanding so that we could see the output in a clear view. After the second loop ends, here I have to give system.out.println so that it will come to the next line. I'm doing this method to print our output in a row column way. Now if I run the program, I will get the output in a row column. So this is all about two-dimensional array. Now we'll discuss how to assign elements of different data types in array. Of course, array contains elements of similar data type, but there is another way where we can assign different data types by using object. For that, I have to give keyword object, straight brackets. I have to give a name to the object, let's say A, equal to new keyword, again the object keyword. So here I have to give them number of elements that we are going to assign the values. Let's say 3. This is one way. In another way, which is object, straight brackets, I'm giving the name as A equal to curly braces. Now here I can give different data types. Let's say I'm giving a string, birds. I'm giving an integer 69. I can also give a boolean and then a float. Again, if I need to access any one of the elements, I just need to list the name of the array, A of, and the element number. Let's say I'm giving first index. In first index, we have 69. I'm running the program so that I will get the output as 69. Let's summarize what we have discussed so far. First, we discussed what is an array and the syntax of an array. We have also discussed an alternative way to assign the values to array. This is single dimensional array. We also discussed about two-dimensional array and how to retrieve the values using for loop. At last, we discussed how to assign different data types. So friends, this is all about arrays. We will meet in my next video with a new topic. Thank you.